This is a video to talk about the oil pan gasket on a BMW 740i. I think it's the M62 TU version of the engine. I had an oil leak, small leak. I couldn't tell where it was coming from, but I believe it was coming from this old gasket. So I bought a new gasket from SCP Euro, and I'll link the part number in this video. I went ahead and put the car up on ramps, as you can see. And I removed the lower cover of the engine. There's like 5 or 6 screws that just come out and it just slides out. So let's take a look underneath the car. So this is the oil pan right here. And this is the oil sensing unit down here, oil level sensing unit. And these are 10 millimeter nuts that go on. And these are 10 millimeter bolts that go around the pan, and there are, I think, 24 or 25 of them, and they're all the same length, so they're not different lengths, so that's good. I went ahead and drained the oil using here, drained it out, and then I had trouble with this connector, and it's an old car, so I didn't want to break anything, so I took these bolts out, and then I used some zip ties just to take this and hook it up here just to hold on to it while I was changing everything out. There's a gasket that goes in here. I'll link that down as well. That's like 50 cents. I highly recommend replacing it. And then I went ahead and I loosened up all the bolts, make sure I didn't have anything that was seized up, right? Messed up. And then after that, I took out most of the bolts, but I kept like a bolt up here and a bolt over here and a bolt back here there, just to keep the oil pan level. Quick tip: there is oil after you take the oil out. There's still oil down here. Okay, probably about half a cup, I would guess. So when you're taking this off, just make sure that when it comes out, you don't drop oil all over the ground. And what I did is, I can't demonstrate it here, but I used this hand right underneath, and then I loosened up all the remaining bolts, and then I was able to just sort of set it down onto my oil container down here. And then I drained out the rest of that oil. So when I pull this off, I have to take the old gasket out. And then while this is out, you're still having oil that is coming out of the engine. So make sure you have this oil pan, and it's going to leak all the way around because that's where the oil's coming from, right? So just beware of that. And I put the new gasket on. And then again, I had to reverse the process. This oil pan probably weighs 5 or 6 pounds, maybe up to 10 pounds. I didn't weigh it when I took it out, but I had to like hold on to it, and then I'd use a couple bolts and I would get them in there, and the gasket doesn't necessarily seat right. So I put the gasket in there, put it up there, put the bolt through, and put one through here, and then lined it up, and then I was able to put all the rest of the bolts back in. So it's pretty straightforward job. But you do get oil that continually drains out a little bit as you're changing out this gases, so just be aware of that. I went ahead and the torque setting on this is 10 Newton meters. I believe that's correct. Double check my work, please. And I went ahead and bought a digital torque wrench from Sears because it was on sale for like 71 bucks. And it went from 0 up to 75. I'll show you that here in a second. Now that torque wrench doesn't beep when you hit 10 Newton meters, but you feel the release, and it's very light, so you got to be careful as you're tightening these up. And I went ahead and tightened up, like I did this one, and I went over here, and I did a cross pattern when I was tightening the bolts up, just to make sure I had an even when I was tightening everything up. So I tightened it up. I went ahead and put in 3 quarts of oil, let it sit overnight, just make sure I didn't have any leaks. And then I went ahead and filled the rest of it up. Quick tip is this oil sensor is torque these bolts first, because when you put the sensor back on, you can't get to the bolt unless you use like an open-end wrench. So torque these up first, and then put this on, and then tighten these up. These are also 10 Newton meters torques, but again, double check your work. This is 25. This big one down here is 25 Newton meters of torque as well. And I've got that new copper gasket that I got with my oil filter. And then I filled the rest of it up with another 5 quarts of oil. and I let it sit overnight just to double check. So I double checked everything. I don't feel any leaks, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the cover back on and get on down the road. I did use engine degreaser in here to get all the excess oil out of here. So that's it. Oh, let me show you the torque wrench. Hold on. So this is the torque wrench that I had bought at Sears. There's Craftsman. And it's pretty easy to adjust. Let me pull it out of here. You just adjust it by pulling out here, and then you turn it. Let's see if I can do this with 2 hands. And you can go up or down. It's pretty sweet. Then you just put this back in, and then you're ready to go. And I think it's a 3/8 inch. 3/8 inch. That's it. Good luck. I'm a novice mechanic, and it was pretty easy to do. Okay, thanks. Bye.